dum Yididum, hi-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Yididum, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye. Oh, yum, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Hi-ya-da-da-dum, hi-ya-ya-do. Yididum, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Yididum, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye. Oh, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Hi-ya-da-da-dum, hi-ya-ya-do. Hi-ya-da-da-do, hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-da-yo. Hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-da-da-do. Hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-hi-hi-hi-hi-hi-yo. Oh, hi-yo. Get it on, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye. Oh, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Hi-ya-da-da-dum, hi-ya-ya-do. Get it on, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Get it on, bye-yum, bye-yum, bye. Oh, hi-yum, bye-yum, bye-yo. Hi-ya-da-dum, hi-ya-ya-do. Hi-ya-da-da-do, hi-ya-da-da-hi-ya-dum, bye. Hi-ya-da-yo. Hi-ya-dum, hi-ya-dum, bye. Hi-ya-da-di-do. Hi-ya-dum, hi-ya-hi-hi-hi-hi-yo. Oh, hi-yo.
Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair. My name continues to be Marcus Gray Hauk. My pronouns are he, him, and his. I serve as the Director of Music Ministries for our congregation. If you're watching this service live on Facebook or YouTube, we invite you, as always, to share your name and your location in the chat. Of the hymns today, we'll be singing two in a round, meaning we're going to sing them through once or twice together all the way, and then in two parts with staggered entrances. And you can choose which of the parts you want to join, or if you're particularly ambitious, to create a third one. The hymns today will be led by our members Ginny and Steve Crooks.
wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such bliss and takes away the pain of my soul, and takes away the pain of my soul.
When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down, sinking down. When I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round, oh my soul, oh my soul. Friends to me gathered round, oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends,
Oh, pain and sorrow met,
with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give.
open my heart to
Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give. Open my heart to all that I seek. Let me be part of the love you give.
Whoever you are, wherever you come from, whatever age, ability, history, identity, gender, or sexual orientation, you are welcome to bring your full self here. I am intern minister Ali K.C. Bell. My pronouns are they, them, and theirs. Grounded in faith, we come together to nurture the soul, inspire hope, and bring into being a more just and loving world. This month's theme is becoming, and today's service titled Losing Everything reframes this theme. Perhaps we think that becoming is about acquisition, acquiring new ideas, freedoms, and capacities. But is this really the essence of becoming? If this pandemic has taught us anything, perhaps it has taught us how loss, letting go, and how absence can be the means of becoming, as each shapes us in challenging but incredible ways. If you have school-age children, please register for our amazing, enlightening, empowering children's religious education program. And now, a special announcement from our Social Justice Coalition's Listening Campaign team.
Listening is an act of justice. It's rare to be listened into speech, rare to be encouraged to speak your truth, your understanding, your hope aloud.
Partnering with New Jersey Together Essex, a newly forming countywide collaborative justice body, a team from our congregation will be listening to you.
We are a group of more than 20 justice leaders acting within our congregation's social justice coalition. We have set a goal of listening to 200 of you, our members, our friends, our congregation.
We have also set the goal of listening to our MESH, Montclair Emergency Services for Hope community. All of our voices matter. We are in this together.
Why are we listening? We're listening to hear what matters to you and what you want to see changed, what you would be willing to fight for. And we're listening with the expectation that common hopes will rise to the surface, issues that we work on across Essex County. This is work we can accomplish together.
So when we reach out to you, say yes.
We are committed to listen, to learn, to work together for change.
We are committed to listen so that we can act with collective power.
If you're joining us at 10 a.m., please continue with us for our virtual Connection Cafe beginning at 11 a.m., a very special Connection Cafe where today we will welcome our newest member. And please note that we will not have a newcomers connection conversation this Sunday. Please come to Connection Cafe instead. Now, it's time to light our chalice, a beacon to guide us through these times together. Perhaps you have a chalice or candle at home, anything you can illumine. Let's light our collective chalice as we share our chalice lighting affirmation. Let us open our senses to take in the beauty. Let us open our minds to learn what is true. Let us open our hearts to love one another.
These are the new members of our congregation.
First, we welcome Susan Wright. Susan Wright has chosen to become a member because our congregation welcomes everyone regardless of age, wealth, sexual orientation or identity, race or religious background, and because she has experienced a sense of belonging that was missing from her life. And Susan hopes to continue to build her spirituality, serve our community, and be of service beyond our walls. Susan Wright, welcome.
Next, we welcome Wayne Eastman. Wayne is a longtime member of our partner congregation, First UU of Essex County in Orange, and a volunteer here for the last 7 years. He's joining because our vibrant, large congregational culture offers great opportunities for service and spiritual growth. Wayne looks forward to continuing his commitment to religious education and welcomes other opportunities to serve, especially in strengthening partnerships between Unitarian Universalist congregations and other communities. Welcome, Wayne Eastman.
Beloveds, it is a radical act to commit to a congregation. You, our newest members, humble us with your resolve.
New members, congregation, from wherever you are, whenever you experience this service, we are so glad for your presence. And community, please continue with us for a Connection Cafe at 11 a.m. where we and our new members can share our new member litany, where we make our promises one to another.
Called now by this new member ceremony into worship, we turn to seek a soft meditation, a deep reflection, an ardent prayer, each as we are called, yet mystically all together. And we enter into this space by hearing the lamentations, the requests, and the remembrances of our community. Let us hear one another to heal one another. We light this candle of remembrance for Sue Wang Rundon. Sue was a member of our congregation decades past when her then husband, John Rundon Jr., served once as chair of our Board of Trustees. Sue died on April 4th, and Reverend Anya performed her graveside memorial this past Thursday. Wayne Foti lights this candle in remembrance of Joyce Morrissey and shares, On April 1st, 2009, my best friend Joyce died at age 62 from a brain hemorrhage. We were members of the UU congregation of Plainfield. She was the light of my life. May she rest in peace. Maggie and Peter Arian light this candle in remembrance of Maggie's friend, Ryan Kalenovich, who took his own life a year ago, April 9th. His kind and warm soul and quirky sense of humor are wonderful memories in an otherwise very difficult year. May his spirit be at peace. David Lewis lights this candle for Roy Imhoff. Roy attended our congregation in the 1970s. Roy died last Sunday from complications after major surgery. Roy opted for hospice rather than having any further interventions. Karen Freed lights this candle for her brother Ken, who passed away 3 years ago this week, and shares, Ken was my big brother, my role model, a gentle and generous spirit who never sought the spotlight, but lived a life of service. He was a compassionate voice of justice and is so missed, but I'm pretty certain he visits in the form of a blue jay. Kim McLennan lights this candle for her godfather, known as Uncle Roy. Roy passed away on April 7th at age 89 due to natural causes. Teresa D'Souza lights this candle for the mother of her business partner and friend, Ivan Kaplan, who is going into hospice this week. And Teresa lights this next candle for the mother of her best friend, Ginny Osborne, who is in hospice. Kathleen Shaughnessy lights this candle for her aunt and uncle who lost their dog Hershey after 15 years. Kathleen adds, my aunt is still really upset and says the house feels empty now that Hershey is gone. Deborah Ann Tripodi lights this candle of remembrance for the family of Nancy Fratilio. Nancy died on April 2nd. Nancy will never be forgotten. Judy lights this candle for her dear 80-year-old friend, Myra, who was just hospitalized for heart-related problems. The prognosis isn't very promising. Judy asks that we keep Myra in your thoughts and prayers. We light this candle in celebration. Today, Jan Carlson Bull celebrates 30 years since her graduation from Union Theological Seminary. And beyond that, on April 11th, Jan will celebrate 20 years of membership at UU Montclair. We light this final candle for the joys and sorrows that have not been spoken aloud. In the silence that follows, you are encouraged to speak the names of those you are holding in your prayers or meditations, or to write their names into the chat. May we hold this silence as this silence holds us. May our listening bring forth acts of love. Good morning, beloveds. Please join me in the spirit of prayer. Spirit of life, known in so many ways by so many names. Gracious power of love unfolding, fill our hearts with courage and strength this day. This day. This day, April 11th, is a day full of history. It was April 11th, 1945, during World War II, that American soldiers liberated the Nazi concentration camp of Buchenwald in Germany. It was April 11th, 1947, when Jackie Robinson became the first black player in the major leagues since Moses Fleetwood Walker in 1889. And on this day in 1968, President Lyndon Johnson signed a Civil Rights Act focused on fair housing and protections for civil rights workers. Let us recall that history never simply happens. We human beings are presented with choices, momentary opportunities to do the right thing, and we either seize that chance or we allow fear, greed, or cowardice to overrule the divine call of greater justice. And I wonder, as we row for years on the midsummer pond, ignorant and content, how will we know when the next moment for greater justice emerges, begging us to midwife its birth? Our ability to embrace new, more just realities requires our ability to let things go, to release our grip on how comfortable we are with how the world currently is, whether what we grip is pleasure or the familiarity of our pain. So open our hearts, yes, and open our eyes so we can really perceive the humanity of our neighbors, hear the beauty, trials, and dreams of one another. The spiritual discipline enabling us to hear the opportunities all around us for healing, justice, peace of mind. That discipline is trust. In order to let go of what obscures our potential for growth, we must trust something better will emerge and fill our lives and our hearts and our streets and our relationships with a greater love. So this morning we pray for a deeper, safer, more abiding trust to become the hallmark of our souls and our interactions, so we can let go of what we can in order to become what we must. In the name of all that each of us deems holy within, we pray. Amen. Please join now in our prayer response. I know this rose will open.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
I know this rose
I know this rose will
I know
open.
my fear
I know my fear will
I know
burn
my
away.
soul will
I know my
unfurl its
soul
wings.
will
I
unfurl
know
its
this
wings.
rose
I know this rose will
I know
open.
this rose
I know this rose
I
will
know my
open.
fear
I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
We know this rose will open when we come together in service to something greater than ourselves. When you give to our offering, 80% of your gift will care for the Unitarian Universalist congregation at Montclair, and 20% will support our Justice recipient. Our April Sharing Our Riches recipient is the New Jersey Environmental Justice Alliance. NJEJA is the only statewide environmental organization that has a significant number of people of color in its membership and leadership. This diversity allows NJEJA to bring unique perspectives to issues that are otherwise absent. NJEJA has worked to prevent and reduce pollution, especially in underserved communities, and thanks to their efforts, there is now a New Jersey environmental justice movement that ensures that all New Jersey residents, regardless of their race, color, ethnicity, religion, or economic status, are able to live, work, play, worship, and attend school in clean, safe, healthy, sustainable environments. You can text to give, mail us a check, or go to our homepage and click on the donate button. This is a time of need. All of your gifts are worthy, and they are all received with love. Affirmation by Donald Hall. To grow old is to lose everything. Aging. Everybody knows it. Even when we are young, we glimpse it sometimes and nod our heads when a grandfather dies. Then we row for years on the midsummer pond, ignorant and content. But a marriage that began without harm scatters into debris on the shore, and a friend from school drops cold on a rocky strand. If a new love carries us past middle age, our wife will die at her strongest and most beautiful. New women come and go, all go. The pretty lover who announces that she is temporary is temporary. The bold woman, middle-aged against our old age, sinks under an anxiety she cannot withstand. Another friend of decades estranges himself in words that pollute 30 years. Let us stifle under mud at the pond's edge and affirm that it is fitting and delicious to lose everything.
Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 dum. There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a star in the sky that brightens the lives of everyone, and it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, I do. Oh, yes, I do. 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 Yes, I do. There's a star in your eye that brightens the lives of everyone, and it brightens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it is a sweet song of love that sweetens the lives of everyone. And it sweetens the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, yes, it do. And there's a voice from the past that speaks through the lives of everyone, the lives of everyone. And it speaks through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. There's a smile in your eyes that shines through the lives of everyone, and it shines through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes, it do. Yes, yes I do. Oh 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 yes I do. Yes you do. Oh yes I do. Oh yes I do. Oh yes I do. Yes do. Yes oh yes I do. Yes yes oh yes I do. Yes I do. 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 Yes I do. There's a river somewhere. Yes there is that flows through the light. Yes there's a river somewhere that flows through the light, and it flows through the mountains and the valleys and the meadows of time. Yes it flows to the river.
There's a river somewhere that flows through the lives of everyone. Oh, yes, it do. Thank you, Glenn Thomas Rideout. Thank you. He told us, Dr. Rideout told us, and I want to tell us again, that there is a river somewhere that flows through the lives, through the valleys, through those deep, deep valleys, those valleys so deep they are even in the shadow of death, and the mountains too of all of our lives. Some call that river Buddha, some call it God, some call it love. How can I do that? How can I say that the river, that God and Buddha and Allah and Goddess and are one? Well, because Thich Nhat Hanh does, and our Universalist ancestors did indeed. Some were killed for saying it. Thich Nhat Hanh says in his Universalist text called The Energy of Prayer, in that text he says that there is a word in Vietnamese. The word is chui. The same word in English he says, is banana. These words, they point to the same thing, chui and banana, just like Buddha and God and river point to the same thing. The holy, the truth, the connection that flows through the lives of everyone. I'm not saying that the river that runs through the lives of everyone is a banana. I'm saying that language screws us up sometimes. It makes us think that things are different, separate, when they really are the same. It doesn't matter what word we use. God, Buddha, love, river. As long as we are working to feel it, to know it, to let it guide us through the mountains and valleys of our lives. This is Universalism, a core of our faith tradition, the great leveler. Peel away the words, the dressing that we put on the holy, and know it for what it is, the river that flows through all. This is Universalism, the great leveler. And in the poem that Amy read, the poem by Donald Hall, we hear another great leveler, loss. Hall, in his late 80s, has felt loss, has known the peeling away of the layers of his life that at one time must have felt so stable, constant, and necessary. And at the end of his poem, he declares what must feel incongruous to all but the most spiritually enlightened. He says, "Let us stifle under mud at the pond's edge and affirm that it is fitting and delicious to lose everything." Delicious? To lose everything? Chocolate is delicious. The sun on my face in the morning, that is delicious. The warmth I feel when we connect, even now, even when we are distant, that is delicious. But losing everything? Help me, Donald Hall. Well, maybe Master Hall would point me to this experience. A few days back, I opened a high cabinet door to reach for a jar of pickled beans that we had put away this past summer. I store the summer preserves on the top shelf of the cabinet that holds my great-grandmother's china. And to reach that high, I need a stool. So I was perched precariously as I jostled the cabinet open. At the moment the door creaked, a quarter of the way ajar, the china platter that was resting against the back wall of the cabinet slid and pushed a tower of china saucers out the open door so that each in prompt succession crashed down all around me. The whole tower, save one, somehow, save one. Heirlooms that had been preserved through 4 generations, including my own, in shards at my feet. Delicious? Delicious, Donald Hall says, to lose everything. At first there was shock, that sting that accompanies unexpected change, then a wash of regret, wondering what I could have done differently. What did I do wrong? Or maybe it wasn't me. Maybe it was Reverend Scott, the last time that he was in that cabinet. Then after all of the blaming, the trying to understand, there was that pure ache of sadness. I went through all the stages of grief, perched there on that stool, overlooking the blue and white china carnage at my feet. After sweeping up the debris, I found the solitary survivor. Remember that one saucer? That one that miraculously fell but didn't shatter. And I ran my fingers over it and asked, what in the world will I do now with 12 teacups and only one saucer? And then there was laughter. That this chaos had happened at all. That this loss had unfolded so succinctly. As I grieved, perched precariously there still on that stool, there was laughter, delicious laughter. I lost my grandmother's wedding ring in the sand and salt current of a tropical beach. My father, when he heard and rightfully presumed my grief, said, "Don't you think she would want to be there in the sun and surf? She never left New York State. Now she is a world traveler." Delicious. When I think of the ring and her, my bapchi, floating in the salt water there halfway around the world, free from my clutching. Delicious. The great Rabbi Heschel says that God does not hide from us, but we hide from God. And Thich Nhat Hanh says that we and God are not two separate existences, that the will of God is not separate from our will, even though sometimes we imagine that it is. He says that the heavens will not stand in the way of humans, but we often stand in the way of the God, of the Buddha within ourselves. My connection to my great-great-grandmother was not perched in that cabinet. It didn't live in that stack of saucers. My connection to my bapchi, my grandmother, wasn't contained in her ring, just like the experience of or the connection to God or Buddha isn't contained in those names. Losing those blessed ornaments of my connection, these beloved ancestors, the veil slipped away and I felt the holy connection itself, the river that ran through both of our lives, a mingling of grief and love. Losing the item that I was clutching, I felt the connection, just like when we lose the name we give to the holy and feel the holy itself. There is a river that flows through the lives of everyone. Oh, yes, it do. Some know it by the name grief, some by the name God, Buddha, or love. The enlightened can feel that these are each one and the same and ever present, especially in the wake of loss. Some might call this delicious. Note here. Note that I am not saying that there isn't pain. Pain comes, especially when the loss has come by way of our mortal coil, has come by way of death. Since the death of our dear congregational son, Jordan Tassi, I have been repeating silently to myself the words of Edna St. Vincent Millay's poem, Dirge Without Music. It's a powerful piece, a hard one to forget once you hear it. She begins, I am not resigned to the shutting away of loving hearts in the hard ground they go. I know, but I do not approve, and I am not resigned. And I too am not resigned, and I too do not approve. The times we are moving through, these COVID times, are times of incredible loss, loss of connection, of comfort, of security, loss of the imagined, the expected life, and all of these losses, they shatter in moments at our feet as we balance precariously on the life that is left. And if we are lucky, if we are working at it, we can feel the veil slip away and the connections that remain. We can feel that they are there, still there to hold us in a delicious embrace. But the loss of a dear one, a young one, to what could have been prevented. Dear God, I must attest that it could have been prevented had our nation behaved differently, had we not been subject and object and perpetrator to this terrible web of systemic oppression. Yes, this loss is different, and I am not resigned. But let me tell you that I am resolved to find the holy even now. Remember that river that runs through the mountains and valleys of our lives. Remember that the names for that river could be Buddha, love, or God. Well, that river could also be Jordan. That river, it could be the river Jordan, the Jordan River, the River Jordan. That's where Jesus was baptized. That's where the Israelites crossed to enter into the promised land. I am not resigned to the death of our dear one, to our dear young son, but I am resolved to know the river that is Jordan, the holy that was Jordan, that is Jordan in our lives still, even now. I am resolved to let that river keep flowing here in our congregation and through all of the mountains and the valleys of our lives. Our Universalist faith tells us that Jordan was a unique manifestation of the holy, that his life touched all life. Loss resides, but not without the Jordan River running through all of our lives. Amen. Will you reflect with me? What name do you give to the river that flows through the lives of everyone? And together, we climb on.
steep and rugged, we are climbing on.
We are climbing on, not resigned to the losses, but open to their lesson. Climbing on, seeking with each loss and with each revelation the river that flows through all of our lives. Climbing on.
Our worship has ended. Let our service begin. Go in peace. Go in joy. Go in love.
Join us right after this for Connection Cafe, where we will meet our newest member and welcome them into our congregation with a shared litany. And until we meet again, virtually or otherwise, you are in our hearts.
Dum dee dum dee dum dee Yididum, hi-yum, bye-yum, bye-oh. Yididum.